Thanks very much, Gary. I do owe Ellen an apology because I don't know who Casey and Sunshine Gang are, but I did Google them.
I'll tell you later.
I Googled them, and one of their songs is Shake Your Booty, so I'm going to have a listen to that later. Ellen. So, moving swiftly on, so thank you, Gary, for the introduction. I'm John Burns. I'm the Portfolio Director for the Swansea-based City deal. As Gary said, this is rounding it down, so it's 1.2 billion, but it's between a 1.2 and a 1.3 billion pound portfolio, covering 9 major programmes and projects, but within those 9 projects and programmes, there's probably about 35 different activities, predominantly infrastructure-based, so building buildings, etc., but also skills and talent development, which I'll draw upon a little bit later. With the City deal is funded, as a lot of things are, through multiple sources, the UK and Welsh Government being a primary source of funders, joint initiative between the two governments, but also public sector, so a lot of local authorities are here today, so local authorities, universities, health boards also contribute towards that. But for us, the key thing is half of that money is investment from private sector. So what we leverage as a consequence of building the building or operating the infrastructure, half of that will come from the private sector. So that's our aim. By 2033 we should have realised all that ambition, and what we're trying to do, as everybody else is make sure that we accelerate our economic growth, make sure that we support the organisations and the companies working with us through infrastructure and skills. So this is a nice visual map of our region. It's all colour-coded, but there's 9 projects, as I said earlier. 3 of them are what we call regional projects, so skills and talent, digital infrastructure, and we've got colleagues from Homes Power Stations, with Una and Richard just over there. Those three span across the whole region, work with all the regional partners across that, and then we have 6 what we call location-based but regional impact projects and programs. So there's a number of those. So there's Swansea Waterfront, the city centre developments around the arena, hotel, the Kingsway development, working with Trinity St David University. There's neighbourhoods and precincts, so that's all one package, if you like, around city centre developments. There's down in Carmarthenshire, there's the Reading Creative Hub that houses S4C, and even just on an annual basis for that locality, they are estimating, or not even estimating, they are presenting £18 million of economic return for Carmarthenshire as a region, and that is multiplied up for Wales. So again, anchoring big organisations like S4C and others, ATG for the arena, these are all important things. We've got Pentra Owl, which is based on the Delta Lakes on Connectley. That's all about well-being and wellness, training, R&D, leisure facilities, residential accommodation, etc. So again, a massive complex, a £200 million headline project. Pembroke Marine, again, Ellen referenced Freeports. So Pembroke Marine and another project, they were a kind of precursor, if you like, around Freeports. They supported that bid. But Pembroke Marine is looking at infrastructure, things like slipways. And these things, when you actually physically go there and see it, they are literally off the scale. It's mind-boggling how big these things can be. You're talking over 200 metres high, if not more. So they're creating infrastructure down there, things like slipways, the hangar annexes to house businesses, and lots of other activities to support collaborations. Life Sciences Wellbeing Campus, led by Swansea University, that is with Singleton and Morriston, and again, medtech, sports tech is the key focus for that area. And then the last project is Support Innovation Low Carbon Growth, led by Neith Talbot, looking at decarbonisation, net zero, advanced manufacturing, etc. And then there's 7 parts to that programme alone. So we've got information on the desk outlining all of the different things across the region. But the important thing is that we have regional impact, we have local impact, regional impact, but we are putting our region on the map globally by having these projects in place and lots of other things that are catalysing as a consequence of these. So all that aside, well, what do we do in terms of our net zero contribution? A colleague of mine, Pete Austin, again, Pete's on the desk at the back later. Pete has put together a kind of portfolio perspective of what contribution we provide. So in essence, we have estimated around 80,000 square metres of floor space, which will be at least BREEAM Excellent by 2026. We will create at least 5,000 job opportunities in the renewable and energy sectors. we will have at least 6,000 skills opportunities for young people and existing workforce around the same renewable and energy sectors. And we will create centres of excellence, and I'll talk about what those are around skills and talent in a moment. Supply chains, everybody talks about supply chains. If anybody's got a magic wand of how to create one and grow one, that would be excellent, but we are creating and growing supply chains, particularly two around Pembroke Dock Marine and Holmes's power stations, but there are more. And supply chains exist, they always have existed, but how do you drive and put impetus into those with focus to make sure that we get the best out of companies and they get the best out of us as a region. So that's what we're focusing on there for those two. And then the other one is around digital connectivity, so the digital infrastructure programme. That will provide full fibre, IoT, 5G, basically to enable our region to have better connectivity. Okay, so that's our outline contribution. Every project and programme has a lot more to it than that. They're just at the portfolio level, our contribution. So I mentioned Skills and Talent Programme. This is critical to us. It's a headline £30 million programme. It's run by the Regional Learning Skills Partnership, and Gary, you presented at the Regional Skills Plan launch, which was only a month or so ago. The specific deliverables for our programme for Skills and Talent is about, the focus is on new things. It's not you need more welders, so it will fund more welders. It's not that type of thing. But it's about new gaps that exist in the marketplace. So we are going to provide, within the next 5 years, 2,200 additional skills. In that, we'll upskill 14,000 people as a consequence of that. And as I said, that could be students or people in existing employment. 3,000 apprenticeships. So those are, we've already got close to 100 already settled and in the process, but we're going to ramp that activity up. And as I said, we're looking at centres of excellence. And people talk about centres of excellence as to what are they? Are they physical buildings? Are they virtual? Well, they can be either. But what we'll do as a region is gear up towards hopefully physical and virtual within the region, and also going outside the region where we can draw people in or export people with skilled opportunities and upskilled experiences to get a better workforce, a more highly skilled workforce. That will help people get jobs, and particularly highly skilled jobs. So again, the decarbonisation, renewable sectors are two focus areas that we're looking at. But there's also construction excellence and various other things. So the Skills and Talent Programme, for those who were at the Regional Skills Plan launch, they've done what they call a barometer, a gap analysis. And within that gap analysis, there's a number of things that come forward. And some of them may not be surprising to you, but others may. So around 17% of those that responded to this survey said they'll be looking to recruit jobs aligned to net zero agenda. So that's not a lot, 17%. But renewable energy skills was the most listed and asked about future appointments. So what that would imply is that we may need to get more messages out there, more educated companies, because this is by companies feeding back. So I think that there's a little bit of a lesson learned there, that we need to get more messaging out there. But there's the clarity on the net zero opportunities and obligations that we have. It's not just within the sectors. There's also a lot of other things around digital, IT. We talked about programming earlier, leaders management, project management, also teachers and lecturers as well, so within schools, colleges and universities. So there's a whole plethora, if you like, of awareness, upskilling, support needed across the board. Unfortunately, Brett, who's the Programme Manager for Support Innovation, Low Carbon Growth, he isn't able to be here today, but these are Brett's slides on one of the projects that we have with the Bay Technology Centre. This exists. This Bay Technology Centre is open for business. Tenants have started coming in. They are looking for more tenants if anybody is looking for any premises, but they provide an office space, lab space and collaborative space in Bagland Energy Park. But it's about how they built the building and how it will operate is what I'll cover in the next few slides. And hopefully you'll see that this is an exemplar of a project, particularly infrastructure, around decarbonisation, circular economy. So Neathcote Talbot Council, there are colleagues over here in Neathcote Talbot Council as well, but they were given the kind of green light. They were empowered to look at how and what they could do to move the dial in terms of design and construction. So they have bold targets, as a lot of the local authorities do, as do universities and colleges, to decarbonise. So what they did, they focused on the things around the fabric of the building, the material that they used, looking at how they maximised efficiencies and effectiveness. They simulated occupancy and how that occupancy using the space and the equipment usage of how that could be more energy efficient. There was utilisation around thermal mass of the floor and lowering that kind of heating load. Utilising robust measuring and monitoring around a strategy that was implemented. And what that actually led to was a building that requires less energy to run than what it produces. And the numbers are there per kilowatt hour per square metre per annum. So you can see that 65.5 of that is required to run it. The generation is 69.1 kilowatt per square metre per annum. So it's an energy positive building. And what is brilliant about it is, sorry, I've jumped a slide. So what's important about it is that all of the stuff that the contractor, the designer, and Leith Tower Council used, they did lots of pre-planning stuff. They used a thing called BIM, for those who aren't aware, building information modelling. That's about a process and capturing and managing information throughout the whole life cycle of a building. So by doing that, they basically designed out waste. So normally a project in the UK would produce 11 tonnes of waste. This project had 2.4 tonnes per 100 square metres. That's a significant reduction in the norm. 59 tonnes of construction waste was recycled or recovered, and again, from a BREEAM perspective, that is exemplary. 96% of the construction waste was diverted from landfill. So that's pretty much as good as it probably can get. 42% was improvement around the water consumption. That was simply by installing efficient sanitary ware. So again, a huge number of improvements and efficiencies. Through the life cycle of planning, 92% of that building fabric that we've created can be recycled. So at end of life, most of the building is recyclable. So in a nutshell, this is the first energy positive building in operation for a commercial setting in Wales. There will be many more. The Kingsway, as an example, will potentially be another one once we've gone through those assessments. Okay, so it produces more energy than it consumes. What you would find in a lot of buildings, homes or businesses, the traditional heating system is totally emitted, and that's again reducing carbon impact of the building life cycle. The photovoltaic panels that you can see between the glass windows on that picture there, that is the actual building. That facade is photovoltaic panels. Everything around the photovoltaic panels was designed to fit those in, so there was no cut-offs or waste. So all the glass panelling, that was designed to fit around the PV. So again, that maximised efficiency around waste. So it's an all-electric building. It uses no fossil fuels. And as I said, the ongoing kind of legacy of the building is about carbon sequestering acid. So it doesn't emit carbon, and it will harness and utilise what's around it. So rather than promote it, this has been a self-promotion. This is about recognition, and there's been 3 awards last year alone just on this building, the Bay Technology Centre. So there's a Net Zero Award in 2022 from Construction Excellence in Wales. We've had a Sustainability Award, again last year from Inside of Wales, Property Awards. And the third one is the Project of the Year for Commercial Property, which is the British Construction Industry Awards. Now, these awards aren't easy to win, but having 3 for one building is an exemplar as far as we're concerned. So again, there's lots of lessons learned, there's lots of information available within Leith Tower Council and with the contractors that were designed and built.